The following slides have been approved for public release. Hi, we're glad you tuned in. We're going to provide a short introduction to the Software Communications Architecture, better known as the SCA. The SCA is applicable for many types of embedded products, but the primary usage has been in software-defined radios, or SDRs. Slide 2 provides a big view of the SCA. Now we're going to discuss all of these items deeper in the brief, but it helps to have a big picture before we discuss the details. Now, starting in the upper left-hand corner, in the purple, the SCA is an architecture. It describes the basic components of the radio domain. It defines their behaviors and their relationship to the waveforms and to what we call the radio's operating environment, or the OE. The forest green block represents the basic software interfaces defined by the SCA. These are the building blocks for software components within the radio. They guarantee communication at the management and control level. The tan block represents the management and control behavior of the radio. The SCA defines how waveforms are installed and instantiated within the radio. It describes a file system that allows any processor to reach the files on any other processor within the radio. The Kelly green block represents some software speak, or the component model of the SCA. To maximize flexibility and scalability, the SCA is written with a separation of behavior, interface, and implementation. This results in a cleaner specification, and it enhances the open architecture and the replaceability of the radio components. The purple block in the center represents the commercial off-the-shelf software, or the COTS specifications. Radio vendors use either commercial or open source implementations of operating systems, data transport, and other services such as logging services. The SCA specifies the capabilities and the interfaces of these software services so that the waveform will experience exactly the same behavior and interfaces regardless of what radio the waveform is installed in. The cyan block at the top center represents the metadata requirements of the SCA. Every binary executable loaded into the radio has at least 3 accompanying metadata files that provide information about the components, interfaces, memory, and processing requirements, as well as configuration properties of that component. The SCA uses this information to instantiate the waveforms, as we'll discover deeper in this briefing. In the blue on the far right, we have the so what of the SCA. Because the waveforms and the radio sets are both developed compliant to the SCA, they can be procured independently. The current business model is for the government to procure a version of the desired waveform that's placed in the waveform repository. Radio vendors then download that waveform and port it to their SCA compliant radio sets. These non-developmental item, or NDI radio sets, are then offered to the DoD as part of the acquisition process. At the lower right-hand corner, we have the realized benefits. Because there's no vendor lock-in with intellectual property rights on the waveform, the government has continuous competition. New suppliers can provide new radios at any time. Because there's a single software baseline, there's implicit interoperability and network security. We don't have to wonder about how a vendor implemented the waveform, because it's all the same. And again, because of the single software baseline, we have the ability to push out software updates or patches quickly to the field. Slide 3 provides the perspective that the SCA is similar to a Windows operating system for a tactical radio. That isn't completely accurate, but it does provide the perspective of how an SCA waveform can be installed on any SCA-compliant radio. On the right-hand side of the graphic, we depict the software architecture of the radio. The radio software itself is on the outside of the waveform, along the periphery of the bubble. The radio has hardware services such as the modem, GPS, Ethernet, that are provided standardized interfaces to the waveform. Recall, because of the SCA, the waveform will see exactly the same interface on every radio set. The radio set also provides some software services to the waveform that we'll talk a little bit about later, and there's a universal waveform command and control interface called the platform adapter. On the bottom of the waveform is the COTS software that we described earlier, and the SCA itself provides services and capabilities to the waveform. The takeaway from this graphic is that the waveform is abstracted from the specifics of the radio set, much like a Windows application like Acrobat is isolated from the specifics of a personal computer. We have used the term waveform several times already, and a formal definition is overdue. In the graphic on slide 4, we define a waveform as the complete thread of activities from the antenna on the left to the user interface on the right. This includes common hardware and software that could be reused by many waveforms. The user interface could be a loudspeaker, an LCD display, or simply an Ethernet port. The tan-colored boxes on the far left and the far right represent radio hardware. There are radio frequency amplifiers cascaded for the signals up and down the antenna on the left. There are specialized processors in the modem that translate the electromagnetic signals received by the antenna into ones and zeros that can be processed by the general-purpose processors of the radio set. On the far right, the tan-colored boxes represent the hardware presentation of the ones and zeros to the users. All of the radio hardware can be reused by multiple waveforms. Similarly, in the light blue boxes in the center, the radio set provides software services and capabilities to the signal processing in the waveform thread. As an example, the radio needs timing to know when to listen and when to transmit, and that common capability is provided as a radio service instead of requiring every waveform to replicate that capability. The same discussion can be applied to the networking stack and other common processing functions. The green boxes represent the unique waveform capability for this particular waveform. LTE and Wi-Fi waveforms would use many of the same blocks that we previously described, but there are some very unique things about their capabilities. That functionality or capability is represented by the unique green software components described as the waveform application. To summarize, the waveform is the complete thread of activity from the antenna to the loudspeaker. The waveform unique software or application is only the software components unique to that waveform. Slide 5 is similar to a graphic that we discussed earlier. The intent of the SCA is to abstract the waveform from the specifics of the radio set by defining application programming interfaces known as APIs. As the graphic depicts, the COTS software in yellow on the bottom provides the POSIX operating system functions required of the waveforms. The SCA is a contract between the waveform and the radio set. The radio set promises to provide this functionality to the waveform, and in return, the waveform promises never to request anything additional. The interfaces of the radio hardware, depicted as the blue radio OE software components, provide the same interface to the waveform regardless of the radio set. Similarly, every waveform has the exact same GPS or Ethernet interface. The orange radio set control in the center is standardized. Almost every radio has unique displays or symbology, but the command and control instructions provided to the waveform are the same for every radio set. The SCA provides standardized services to the waveform, as we will discover deeper in the briefing. I note the last bullet on the slide. After the SCA has started the waveform, the purple waveform components at the top simply communicate with each other as if there was no SCA. There is no runtime penalty for the SCA. During waveform execution, the SCA is not engaged with the waveform processing. Slide 6 addresses a frequent question. What is the difference between a smartphone and an SCA radio? The left and right sides of the graphic appear similar, and that's because both the smartphones and the SCA radio utilize dynamic binding to aggregate or combine software components and increase functionality. The big difference is the green circled layer on the SCA radio. A smartphone has hard-coded, fixed-frequency waveforms. The LTE or Wi-Fi waveforms executing on a smartphone have been hard-coded into an ASIC integrated circuit. If a cyber threat or jamming interference emerges for one of those waveforms, you're simply left with the FCC's guidance. Find someplace else to use your phone. The SCA radio defines its waveforms in software. The purple software components illustrated in the waveform layer on the right can be replaced or substituted to update or replace the waveform. The waveform is not hard-coded. This permits software patches in the field in the event of a new waveform threat. The SCA specification is fairly lengthy, but I'll note it's nothing in comparison to the volumes of documentation for the iPhone or Android. To assist in navigating the specification, it has 3 different categories. The first category on the left is the software that's installed on an SCA radio that provides services and functionalities to the radio and waveforms. We'll describe these software services deeper in the briefing. The center category is the specification of commercial or open source software. Radio vendors are going to use either commercial or open source operating systems, data transport, and logging services. In the SCA specification, we simply reference the open system specification to interfaces that are required. This assures that waveforms will have the expected operating system functionality when installed on an SCA compliant radio set. We've already discussed some of the third category on the right, that is the architecture of the SCA. We have shown the architecture of a radio, some of the interfaces, and talked about the metadata. Slide 8 introduces one of the more interesting design features of the SCA. In the graphic, we have 2 software components, a GPS device and a position, time, and navigation, or PNT component. As you will see in a couple of slides, waveforms are components that have to be connected together. Until the application factory connects the 2 components illustrated in the graphic together, they cannot communicate with each other. In order for the application factory to be able to connect the 2 components together, there must be a standardized mechanism defined for component communications. The SCA defines ports as illustrated graphically by the prongs in the illustration. From a software perspective, these are essentially phone numbers. But a component only knows its own phone number until it has provided other phone numbers by the application factory. The left blue component is part of the radio set rather than the waveform application. However, to complete the waveform thread, waveform components must be connected to the radio components as well. Please switch to Part 2 for the conclusion of this introduction to the SCA.